welcome to this live coverage. We are here at the Monrovia City Hall, where His Excellency the President will launch the Excel in Learning Liberia project. This project is a Ministry of Education project. We see here the Minister of Education and other officials of government, some of whom are from her ministry, are all out here to receive His Excellency the President. Also here is the Honorable Minister of Finance, all of whom have lined up on the corporates to welcome His Excellency. As we know, education is one of the pillars of the arrest agenda, of this government's arrest agenda. That is the government's agenda for development. So His Excellency will now launch this project. In the background, we have beautiful, beautiful music here, being sung by our cultural group. So officials of government are taking position here. Careful, careful. Here's a video signals the arrival of His Excellency the President as officials of government, stakeholders partners, as well as other Liberians, all stand to welcome His Excellency. So folks, stay with us. We are here at the executive, at the Monrovia City Hall, where His Excellency the President has just taken his seat.
Welcome, Mr. President and Madam First Lady. We all please stand so that we sing the national anthem. This glorious land of liberty shall long be ours. Only great be of fame and mighty be of power. Only great be of fame and mighty be of power. And mighty be of power. And mighty be of power. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sing out that we shout the freedom of the risen night. Only Liberia, happy land, a home of glory, liberty, my cross compare. A home of glory, liberty, my cross compare. Tell me fast pencil, we sing just the first stanza. Please take your seat. We'll observe a minute of silence. And at that time, each of you will pray to God the way you know how to. 1 minute. Thank you. Ministry of Education, official launch, Excellence in Learning in Liberia, SL project. And the motto, strong foundation, lasting impact. We now invite to the podium the Honorable Fasan H. Nyeswa, Assistant Minister, Bureau of Early Childhood Education, Ministry of Education, for the welcome remarks.
Thank you. Please permit me to stand on existing protocol. Your Excellency, Jose Boakai, Senior President of the Republic of Liberia, our First Lady, Madam Katumo Boakai, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Deputy Ministers, Assistant Ministers, distinguished guests, our partners, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Ministry of Education, I'm heartily honored to extend a warm and respectful welcome on this official launch of Excel. We are deeply honored by your presence, His Excellency Jose Boakai Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia, whose attendance is of more significance of this program, and this signifies and reflects within our arrest agenda for inclusive development, particularly as a foundation of human capital development, economic transformation, and social cohesion. We are equally pleased to recognize and honor the Minister of Education, her entire deputies and assistant minister, whose leadership continue to advance education reform aligned with this national vision. The Excel program represents a strategic and result-driven intervention that directly supports the arrest agenda by strengthening learning outcomes, enhancing teacher effectiveness, and expanding access to digital education. We extend our sincere appreciation to our developmental partners for their continued collaboration, technical expertise, and financial investment in Liberia education sector. Your partnership is instrumental in translating the priority of our national agenda into measurable, sustainable outcome for our schools, our teachers, and our learners. As we share this launch, we look forward to continued participation, partnership, constructive dialogue, and collective action to ensure the successful implementation of this Excel project. This agenda includes the development and the long-term aspiration of our nation. Once again, Your Excellency, Honorable Ministers, distinguished guests, we thank you for honoring us with your presence. We wish you and everyone else, as we celebrate today, enjoy the importance of this day, a pleasant launch and a successful program. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Assistant Minister. The Excel project is a major national initiative jointly funded by the Global Partnership for Education and the International Development Association of the World Bank Group. The project aims to significantly improve foundational learning outcomes and expand access to quality education in public early childhood education and primary schools, while strengthening overall sector governance and system. At this time, we invite comedian Ann Jenny, who will briefly entertain us. Ann Jenny.
How you do, Bob? Oh, my dear brother, my child. Yeah, I think I can climb a little bit. Hold my hand, child. Come up this way. I always want to see old people down for. That's all right. Good morning, family. I will stand on the existing protocol. Cousin Joe, how you do, Bob? Cousin Katuma, been a while. How you do, Mama? Yeah, that's all right. Cousin Jara, well, it's been for decades. But before I could say one or two things, I introduce myself, your child. I'm the Right Reverend Dr. Jeannie Theodosius Dixon Benson Brown Mason Harris Open Middle Smith White Boakai King. Well, do not date. My cousin Joe and I were in class together. It's been decades, but now I'm going to say record ages claims for me. The whole education system cause can be Rick Monroe, no here, no tear about it. You got 100 students sitting in a late class. The teacher, no training, nothing at the camp, no hair, no tail, nothing at the camp. And the ELSA going to bring a brand new education system to Liberia. Oh yes, child. And every day I would get down on my knees and pray for Cousin Joe. He didn't make no mistake by bringing Cousin Jara on board. Everything gonna change and be a better thing, because they're gonna be training of teachers and principals. Now anything you bring in your job and say, oh, classroom teacher. No, it won't be that way. You just say, I'll be a principal. No, it won't be that way anymore. They're gonna take a time to train them. Train the teachers, train the principal, and not only training after that, they're gonna have good materials to start up with the project. It's gonna be from 1st grade to 6th grade, the primary education. So the ELSA had come at the right time on the arrest agenda. So everything gonna change. Where you got 100 students sitting up in the class, you can't even dress up, you can't even go this way or that way and go this way or come so. No. They can have a minimum number of students in a class. I thought someone could put their hand together and do it. They clap, man. That make me feel bad. I ain't gonna preach, man. I'm just saying something. Yeah, just saying something. I'm preaching anything, yeah. I know I'm a librarian. I'm preaching anything. So now to eat up the time, you know, when people get you mic, gonna respect your stuff before they bring you the notice and say, oh, child, get that on the pulpit. So I want to say thank you again. The Lord bless my weary soul. And Cousin Joe, you know how much I pray for you, child. Make sure you put your prophet offering here before I leave. I'll see you later, child. Come on in. What my brother? My brother, child. Bring it. No, that's all right. Thank you.
Put your hands together once more for Aunt Jenny. Thank you very much for the great performance. I have the master copy of the program. So before we hear from the sector head, the distinguished Minister of Education, we'll go to the screening of a special documentary.
For decades, Liberia's system struggled under the weight of conflict. Underinvestment in broken structures, classrooms once known for excellence lost their shine, and too many children left behind, unable to read, write, or count at the level their futures demand. However, there is a new chapter unfolding in Liberia, a chapter shaped by President Joseph Boakai's commitment to rebuild the nation through education. His agenda places learning at the center of national renewal, recognizing that no country can rise above the quality of its schools. President Boakai's vision calls for restoring dignity, quality, and opportunity in every classroom, ensuring that the promise of Liberia's children becomes the foundation of Liberia's development.
The need was there. It was apparent. The data is there, and if we're going to develop any nation, we cannot disregard education. So the data that spoke to learning outcomes was one of the selling factors.
In communities across Liberia, classrooms are overcrowded. Teachers lack structural tools. Early grade instruction struggles without consistent materials. Leadership and supervision systems need strengthening. Liberia needed a bold, system-wide solution, and that solution has come.
Excel, we rise, we learn, we lead, building the future that we need. We push in our hands and dreams to chase. Education lifting every place. Excel, together we achieve. Stronger than ever when we believe. For Liberia's children, loud and clear. The future's bright. The future's here.
One of the major investments under the Excellence in Learning in Liberia project is the construction of 100 new schools designed specifically to serve students from kindergarten to grade 6. These schools will reduce overcrowding, shorten long walking distances, and provide safe, well-equipped environment for early learning. Each school will include classrooms, sanitation facilities, and the essential infrastructure needed for effective instructions. This investment strengthens the very foundation where learning begins.
Excel is going to focus on foundational learning, that's kindergarten through 6th grade. Not only is it going to help support evidence-based instruction with structured pedagogy, but what it's going to do is provide equitable access to education. What we also have as a component is capitation grants. So it's supporting schools so that parents will be able to send their children to school without worrying about registration fees, for example, that they just have to send their children to school. The development of teaching and learning materials. Our schools do not have structured learning materials. So the provision of structured learning materials for the schools are also part of what Excel is going to support.
The Excel project provides teachers with structured training and classroom materials. Principals will be trained to lead instruction more effectively. County education officers will have improved tools for supervision and data management.
Across our country currently, we have overcrowded classrooms. We have multi-level, multi-grade classrooms being taught by teachers who are underprepared. So those areas are going to be targeted under component 1 and 2 in the Excel project.
The Excel project is not just for the Ministry of Education. It's a project that is at the heart of every Liberian.
The community was involved, most especially in the safeguarding component. We had teams that went in the counties to engage the community, inform them about the Excel project coming, and explain several, aspects of the project and solicit their feedback. And some of those were incorporated in what we have now developed, the full Excel project.
The Excel project aligns with Liberia's education sector plan and national development agenda, the arrest agenda for inclusive development. It reduces the sector's financing gap, strengthens quality, improves data management, and builds a sustainable system for the future.
The Excel project was one that was written to bring educational reform to primary education in Liberia. And the scope of this project was going to touch every county in the length and breadth of the country. 73 districts will be impacted with at least 500,000 each for school construction, school renovation, capitation grants. And the idea is to not only construct buildings, but ensure we're providing environments that are conducive to learning for our young people, and helping teachers providing the right teaching learning materials for them to have quality learning outcomes for the country.
The Excellence in Learning in Liberia project is more than a reform. It is a promise to rebuild, a promise to uplift, a promise to secure a stronger future for Liberia, one child at a time. The true meaning of thinking Liberia, loving Liberia, and building Liberia.
Education lifting every place.
The narration in the documentary was done by journalist Mose Garcia-Wood of the BBC, and the speaker was the Minister of Education. Give the both a big hand clap. We now invite Dr. Jaso Male Jala, the Minister of Education of the Republic of Liberia, to give us the overview of the Excel project.
Good morning, everyone. Whew, nerves. Joe, can you please join me up here? I want to acknowledge Joe Basakoli before I begin. He has been the strong man behind all of the development of the project documents, along with the team at the Ministry of Education. Pushing. Joe, I like to give people their flowers. You take your flowers along with my team. Please stand up. You all were pivotal in the development of the project implementation manual. Thank you. Please have your seats. Not you. So before I turn it over to Joe to give a full picture of the Excel project, I'd like to make a special statement in this regard. His Excellency, President Joseph Nyuma Boakai, President of the Republic of Liberia, our dynamic First Lady, Madam Katuma Boakai, Honorable Yanji Flomo, Chair, House Committee on Education, Honorable Members of Joint Houses, Committee on Education, Honorable Members of the Cabinet, Members of the Legislature, Ms. Georgia Wallen, World Bank Liberia Country Manager, distinguished representatives of the World Bank and Global Partnership for Education, Mr. Andy Brooks, UNICEF Country Representative and Co-Chair of the Local Education Group, Madam Nona EU, a leader of the EU, education leaders and development partners, teachers, civil society colleagues, members of the media, fellow Liberians, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. In a classroom not far from here, a child sits upright at her desk. She is meticulously copying from the chalkboard. Her notebook is full. Her handwriting is neat. To the casual observer, she would say she is learning. But if you paused and asked her to read those carefully written words aloud, she would hesitate. The letters are familiar, but the meaning does not connect. She can write the words, but she cannot read them. That quiet, ordinary, and yet profound moment captures the central challenge facing our education system. The challenge is no longer simply getting children into school. It is about ensuring that genuine learning actually happens once they are there. This is the urgent problem the Excellence in Learning in Liberia Excel project is designed to confront. Over the past 2 decades, Liberia has achieved real progress expanding access to education. Enrollment has soared, schools have reopened and expanded, but the evidence is clear. Access has outpaced mastery. Too many children are advancing through the early grades without strong literacy and numeracy skills. They reach the end of primary school lacking the foundational base needed for further education, productive work, or full participation in society. This is not a failure of children. It is not a lack of effort by our dedicated teachers. It is a system challenge, and it demands a comprehensive system response. Foundational learning, literacy, numeracy, and the basic cognitive and socio-emotional skills that support them. It's not one education priority among many. It is the absolute base. When this foundation is weak, everything built on it is unstable. Secondary education, STEM, skills training, and ultimately economic productivity. That is precisely why Excel focuses where the returns are highest and the consequences most far-reaching, the early grades. The shift to systemic reform. This project represents a crucial shift. From measuring success by enrollment alone to measuring it by what children can actually do. From fragmented interventions to coherent system-wide reform. From well-intentioned activity to results that can be observed, measured, and acted upon. Excel is a 5-year national reform program, jointly financed by the government of Liberia, the World Bank, and the Global Partner for Education. It is fully anchored in our education sector plan and the Arrest Agenda for Inclusive Development. But financing alone does not produce learning. Disciplined systems do. What distinguishes Excel is its emphasis on disciplined delivery. It invests in teachers, not through isolated one-off workshops, but through structured instructional support, aligned materials, consistent supervision, and coherence in what is taught and how. It strengthens the classroom as the central site of reform. It strengthens governance by linking resources to results, improving the use of learning data, supporting counter-level implementation, and insisting on coordination. Fragmentation is not an inconvenience. It is a performance problem. This project is designed to eliminate it. We recognize that learning does not happen in a vacuum. Children learn better when schools are safe, when teachers are supported and present, when materials arrive on time, and when systems respond to evidence, not just assumptions. Instructional reform and system reform must move together, and this is what Excel is set to deliver. To our partners, we deeply value this collaboration because it aligns with Liberia's priorities and works directly through government systems. Excel commits all of us, not just the ministry, to define measurable results. And let me state this clearly. 2026, as I've told my team, is our year of accountability to the Liberian people. Excel will be judged not by how compelling its launch is today, but whether reading outcomes improve, numeracy strengthen, teachers feel genuinely supported in their classrooms, disparities between counties begin to narrow rather than persist. Then and only then will we see the results of Excel. This is not a promise of instant transformation. It is a commitment to evidence-driven, disciplined reform. To our teachers, this project is intended to support your vital work, not complicate it. Your professionalism and feedback will ultimately determine the success of this reform. To our local government officials and county education teams, implementation matters, supervision matters, leadership at your level matters. Ownership beyond Monrovia is essential. This is why we've invited all of our superintendents to join us today in this launch. To parents and communities, Excel is about your children's right to learn, not only their right to attend school. Your engagement and oversight are fundamental to this new era of accountability. In closing, let me return to the child in that classroom. The future of Liberia's economy, its institutions, its peace, and its democracy will be shaped by what happens in the classroom like hers. It will be shaped by whether our children not only copy words, but understand them, acquiring the skills to reason, to participate, and to contribute fully. Excel is our commitment, the commitment of President Joseph Numa Boakai to the Liberian people, in ensuring that those foundations are built carefully, deliberately, and at scale. That is the work before us, and that work begins now. Thank you. And so Joe would take us through a brief presentation about the Excel project so that you understand the scope of the project and what is going to deliver. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you so much. Please, let's quickly go to the... Your Excellency, Madam First Lady, ministers, members of the high table, partners, please permit me to duly observe the existing protocols. The Liberia Excel Project, Excellence in Learning in Liberia, is a comprehensive education reform initiative designed to strengthen foundational learning and primary school quality across Liberia, develop schools, and to strengthen the education system as a whole. Next slide, please. We wanted to just highlight some of the key dates and the processes that went through this project. The minister and her team at the Ministry of Education did a great job. The minister has already highlighted that. This project, with an overall value of 88.7 million, divided into two, is a blended financing of 60 million concessional credit and a 28.7 million grant. And the project was approved on June 10, 2025 by the board, the World Bank, and the financing agreement was officially signed on July 8, 2025, and it was followed by ratification by the legislature on November 27, officially communicated on November 27, 2025, and the president approved the ratification of the credit on December 10, 2025, and we expect the project, as the minister already stated, to be implemented over 5 years, beginning January 2025. Sorry, 2026. Next slide, please. So, the minister has highlighted already why we are focusing on foundational learning. Liberia faces critically low learning outcomes in primary education. The stats are there. We wanted to highlight a few of the things. When we look at ECE proficiency levels, only 13% of students in public ECE were ready to transition to primary school at the time of our education sector analysis in 2022. School readiness of students aged 5 particularly was very low at 6%. And also students at age 6, their readiness level was rated at 8%. But what was more concerning, and even now, is that few students reached the benchmark in oral reading fluency, especially at grade 3. The Ministry of Education and partners set a oral reading fluency benchmark of 45 correct word per minute. But research was done by Innovation for Poverty Action, and the results from that research show that the correct word per minute, the average correct word per minute in Liberia at grade 3 was only 14, far below the minimum benchmark of 45. And also, the share of Liberian students reaching that benchmark, even with the 14 correct word per minute, was only 3.3%. So, if we say we wanted to focus, the minister and the government says that we should focus on foundational learning, there can be no questions about that. The next slide. So, the project is strategically aligned with our national development drive. The project aligns with the ARREST agenda, the minister stated that already, and our current education sector plan. And more importantly, we also want to highlight that the design of this project benefited from global evidence, specifically on cost-effective learning interventions. This project will support structured teaching and learning in early and primary education. The project will focus on stronger teacher professional development and the expansion of equitable access. Rural communities are expected to benefit from this project. The project is a critical tool for improving learning outcomes and reducing educational inequalities. Next slide, please. In terms of the scope and the geography, these reform priorities are going to cover over 2,000 public schools across all 15 counties of Liberia, will focus on primary and the last grade of ECE, that's kindergarten 2, as we call in Liberia. Geographic reach, we are targeting, the minister stated, also all 73 political districts and also 124 educational districts as well. In terms of having a grasp of how the investment package will look like for a county, we are anticipating investing about $500,000 in each political district. And like the minister said, this will come in different activities, whether it's teacher training, whether it's the capitation grant, whether it's school leadership, principal training, whether it's classroom construction, renovation, rehabilitation. So this is the anticipated package. It can even be more than that, this is an average. For the key reform areas, foundational learning is critical. This will focus on prioritizing our curricula, numeracy and literacy curricula. As a matter of fact, significant work has gone into this already. The literacy curriculum was recently completed pending endorsement, and the numeracy has fast advanced. And teacher quality, you will see the next slide when we talk about beneficiaries. We have thousands of teachers to be trained in school leadership, where the focus will be on principals and vice principals in schools. In terms of access, classroom construction, primary schools will be highly considered. In fact, it's a major target, and community engagement. Next slide, please. So we talk about the project development objectives. We also wanted to highlight the different activities on our subcomponents and components in the project. So, on improving foundational learning for all, component 1, there are 2 subcomponents. The first one is prioritizing foundational learning and development of teaching and learning materials. And the second subcomponent is evidence-based instruction on foundational learning through structured pedagogy program. Then component 2, improving access for all. We have 2 subcomponents on component 2 of the project. Improving equitable access to primary education through innovative and climate resilient school construction. And the second one is school capitation grant, which will target renovation, rehabilitation, and performance-based grant to incentivize merit and excellence in schools. Component 2.3 is a school-based violence prevention program. Component 3 exclusively focus on system strengthening to deliver foundational learning through the conduct of timely and quality annual school census and national primary learning assessment. Component 4 of the project will focus on project management, technical assistance, monitoring, evaluation, and so forth. We don't want to take much time on the financial side. You can see that. In terms of the structure, the next slide, please. The financing structure. We already said this is a blended financing arrangement for the project. The credit $60 million from the International Development Association of the World Bank. And what is interesting here to mention, Your Excellency, Ministers, we want to say thank you. The Minister of Finance and his team and the Ministry of Education, under the leadership of Dr. Jala, did a great job in the negotiation of this project. And one of the things that we really pushed as a team under their leadership was to have zero interest and zero commitment charge on the loan. So this is a good deal. The payment dates, very flexible. You will see the schedule. It's a 50-year for part A, it's 6 million. We have a maturity of 12 years, including a grace period of 6 years. And credit B, 54 million, has a total maturity of 50 years, including a grace period of 10. So by 2031, before we can even begin making any payments under this loan agreement. So, and also we want to highlight that because the legislature ratified this loan agreement, it unlocked the grant, the 28.7 million grant, because they were linked. So we would not have had access to the 28.7 million if the ratification was not completed. Next slide, please. For the theory of change, the Excel project is built on global evidence that structured support for students, teachers, and schools lead to measurable improvements in learning outcomes. The key drivers of change: prioritize curriculum, contextualize teaching and learning materials, teacher training and support, remedial programs, strong school leadership, grants for schools. These reforms work together to improve literacy, numeracy, student retention, and teacher effectiveness, especially in underserved areas. Next slide, please. For the project beneficiaries, the project will benefit over 375,000 Liberians, especially students in early and primary education. The breakdown is there. This is now an estimate. We recently have our annual school census, and some of the numbers have been adjusted. But also during implementation, we will also be able to report on actual numbers. 350,000 plus students, 12,000 plus public school, teachers, 4,600 plus school leaders, principal VPIs, 14,000 school management committees, committee members, 75 MOE county staff across the country. Families are also expected to benefit. Next slide, please. We'll soon finish. The project offers strong financial and social returns that will benefit both present and future generations. Your Excellency, economists during the design of this project determined that the internal rate of return was 18.6%. The economists in the room at the Ministry of Finance, our Honorable Minister, will confirm and tell you that this is a good deal for the government in terms of what we get, not just after the 5 years of implementation, but beyond that. In terms of social impact and accountability, we have determined higher returns for girls. Better education leads to delayed, and monitoring and evaluation will also be able to contribute to the project. There were questions about how the classroom will be constructed. If we are constructing primary school, how they will be, the site will be selected. We're going to be looking at communities with no primary schools, communities with high school populations, centers that can serve feeder villages and towns and areas that are most likely to address distance to school concerns. And there will be a needs assessment before actual civil works can commence under the project. In terms of accountability framework, we have developed all the accountability frameworks for the project, starting from the stakeholder management engagement plan, environmental social commitment plan, resettlement framework, sexual exploitation abuse action plan. All these accountability frameworks were developed and disclosed, and some have been disclosed after the project implementation starts. The last slide, please. People always will be concerned about how the sustainability of the project will look like. What we have done from the design stage and under the guidance of our senior management team, we have critically talked through the project design and implementation and highlighted for each component and subcomponent how results will be sustained over time. So this is important. We wanted to highlight that. I'm not going to read everything because of time, but in terms of how do we get financing in the future to continue this work, we have pointed out that the government will continue to provide resources, whether it's continuous maintenance of these classrooms and schools will be built, and also our education law provides that there is a requirement for future funding for this initiative to be led by the government. The section is there, and in addition to the current government budgetary appropriation, all concession agreements for investment in the extractive mineral and other non-renewable source sector, as well as in the agriculture sector and in major privatization contracts, shall require that 60% of any signature fees required shall be allocated to the education budget. And the terms and conditions of all such agreement and contracts shall include a negotiated fixed annual amount as social responsibility fee for education. So we're happy about this, so we can assure ourselves that the results will be sustained. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Minister, for giving me the time.
Thank you. I guess a little bit long, but worth it. So it's okay. We'll now take some special remarks. And by the way, if you don't know who the MC is, my name is Jerolimek Matthew Pia, and I'm the Minister of Information. So for our special remarks, we start with Ms. Georgia Wallen, Country Manager, World Bank Group.
Good morning. Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Liberia, and Honorable Madam First Lady, Honorable Ministers and members of the Cabinet, Honorable members of the Legislature and government officials, Honorable County Superintendents and local government officials, distinguished heads of agencies and partners, leaders and staff of the Ministry of Education, teachers, students, parents, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. On behalf of the World Bank, thank you for the opportunity to join today's launch of the Excellence in Learning in Liberia project. This is a day of hope, rooted in the vision of Liberia Rising. Permit me to start with a question. Above all else, is there one absolutely necessary key to lasting transformation in Liberia? There could be many answers to this question, but the words of Nelson Mandela many years ago are instructive. He said, education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. Liberia is in a pivotal moment. Foundational literacy and numeracy early in life are determinants of a child's future and ultimately of Liberia's capacity to rise. Yet too many Liberian children struggle, not because of their aptitude, but because of the quality of their education. And we heard some of the test results from our colleague from the Ministry of Education. The numbers are an urgent call to action for all of us. And Excel is designed to tackle this challenge head on. It will bring renewed focus on the essential skills that every
in the world, with too many children unable to reach their full potential. This reality demands bold action. Over the past 16 months, the Ministry of Education, the World Bank, alongside local and international partners, work tirelessly to design a program that tackles the root causes of weak learning outcomes. The result is Excel, a transformative initiative aligned with Liberia's Arrest Agenda and
and Vision 2030 for inclusive development. With a total funding of 88.7 million US dollars, including 60 million US dollars from the World Bank's International Development Assistance and 28.7 million from the Global Partnership for Education, Excel will reach more than 2,300 public early childhood and primary schools across all 15 counties, benefiting over 360 students, teachers, and education staff. The project includes a series of interventions to improve foundational learning through evidence-based instructions in reading and math, and the nationwide distribution of quality teaching and learning materials. It also includes the training of 12,000 teachers and school leaders in instructional leadership, mentoring, and data-driven classroom practices. Liberia faces climate-related challenges, but the project invests in climate-resilient infrastructure and wash facilities, ensuring safe and inclusive learning environments. It also includes interventions to empower communities further through school grants and strengthening school management committees. And, equally important, the project promotes gender equity, with nearly half of all beneficiaries expected to be female. Why do we at the TPE Secretary value this project? Well, because Excel embodies what TPE stands for: systemic transformation, equity, and results. It is not just about classrooms and textbooks, it is about giving every child, regardless of background, the chance to learn, the chance to thrive, and the chance to contribute to Liberia's future. It is about building resilience, fostering inclusion, and ensuring that education becomes the cornerstone of national progress. This project comes at a very critical moment. As global public financing for education faces growing constraints, we must work differently and better together. Excel is a collective commitment. Its success depends on strong partnerships, it depends on community engagement and unwavering accountability. Together, we can turn this vision into reality and ensure that Liberia's children receive the education they deserve. On behalf of the Global Partnership for Education, thank you all for your vision, for your leadership, and for your shared commitment to transforming education in Liberia and beyond. I look very much forward to working with you all in the years to come. Thank you.
That was the country lead, Global Partnership for Education. We now have Mr. Andy Brooks, country representative, UNICEF Liberia, co-chair, local education group, for remarks.
Good morning, everybody. Your Excellency, President of Liberia, for the Republic of Liberia, Honorable First Lady, Honorable Ministers of the Cabinet here assembled, Honorable Flomo, Chair of the Senate Committee on Education, to all the county superintendents, so important for the implementation of this project, thanks for coming as well, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests all assembled. As the co-chair to the Minister of Education, who is the chair of the local education group, it's a real pleasure to join you here today in the launch of the Excel program. This is an occasion that marks not only the start of an important initiative, but also the culmination of a long journey to get us where we are today. Let me begin by commending the Minister of Education for reaching this important milestone. This reflects sustained leadership, vision, and commitment to addressing some of the most pressing challenges facing Liberia's education sector, including the urgent need to reduce learning poverty and recover the learning losses following the COVID-19. And even before COVID, Ebola, the long civil war, the children have really had a difficult time accessing education and accessing quality education. So we should put that in the context of the launch of such a significant program. As Georgia was saying, the biggest investment that's been made from the World Bank. It's really an opportunity, because when we look at the figures, the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, disrupted schooling all over the world, but its impact was particularly severe on the most vulnerable children. In Liberia alone, up to 1.4 million children were put out of school, widening existing inequities and placing many learners at risk of never fully returning to education. So the government's strong commitment to move beyond policy statements and implementing a priority program under the Education Sector Improvement Plan is something about translating ambition into concrete, system-level action with a clear focus on foundational learning. The launch of Excel, it also demonstrates Liberia's alignment with global and continental educational commitments endorsed by heads of state at the UN General Assembly, including the outcomes of the Transforming Education Summit and the African Union's Year of Education. It's particularly encouraging that these commitments are not remaining at the level of the global, but they're being operationalized here in Liberia, where it really counts. Today's launch represents a shared milestone for all of the partners. Together, we have worked really closely to develop the National Compact on Foundational Learning, and Excel, which has been a very participatory process, federating partners, allowing everybody to contribute in the design and the vision, demonstrates what is possible when strong government leadership is matched by aligned, principled partnerships that place children's learning at the center. That brings me to the partnership principles that undermine both the Compact and Excel. As the coordinating agency and as a board member of the Global Partnership for Education, UNICEF would like to emphasize that Excel is supported through financing that is intentionally designed to rally partners around a shared national priority, improving foundational learning outcomes for all children. This approach recognizes that no single partner or project can address learning poverty alone. We need to work closely together. In this context, I'd like to emphasize that partners stand ready to support the Ministry of Education exploring new and complementary financing avenues, including innovative financing and additional resource mobilization in the education sector. It was fantastic news to see about the concessions and the 60% in the future that can go to the education sector. But in particular, outside of that, there is a strong interest in looking at investments in energy-efficient infrastructure, the use of renewable energy in schools, climate-smart agriculture, and reforestation initiatives. There's a lot of opportunities out there. Such innovative approaches could potentially generate additional resources while simultaneously advancing climate and sustainability goals. The success of Excel will therefore depend on how effectively it strengthens alignment across the system and enables partners and programs to contribute to a single, coherent vision. Just last week, the sector had its midterm review in Buchanan, and the emphasis there was very much on moving away from fragmented projects, things that were not aligned. We have a very strong arrest agenda. We have the E for education bang in the middle of it, and the AAID that defines very clearly what it is, the pathway that needs to be followed, both at the national level and through the county development agenda at the county level. So we have a game plan, and as partners, we're committed to aligning with that, not with going outside of that. At the heart of Excel is an agreed priority reform, ensuring that grade 3 students achieve foundational literacy and numeracy skills. That's an ambitious goal, but it's always the right one. It's also the right one. Foundational skills are the building blocks for all future learning, and without them, children cannot progress no matter how long they remain in school. So much emphasis, of course, on the economic potential of this country, and all of the opportunities and investments going into TVET, skills training. But unless you give children the start from the beginning, early education, primary education, secondary education, this is the age when children are most influenceable. They learn the most when they're the youngest. So So you try to get them when they're 15 or 16 or 17, it can often be much more difficult. So this vision of really investing in foundational learning, primary school, early education is so important. While this priority reform primarily focuses on quality and learning outcomes, it will be advanced through a set of interlinked policy outcomes. Children, especially girls, children from poor or rural families, and children living with disabilities must be enrolled at the correct age and arrive at school ready to learn. We've seen the results of the annual school census. Whilst there's improvement, you still have a lot of overage children in the system. Overage, out-of-school children must be supported through accelerated and alternative learning programs that give them a real second chance. That's very much part of the policy agenda. Students must learn in healthy, inclusive, adequately resourced and safe environments. We saw the emphasis in Excel also on prevention of sexual-based violence in school. How can you learn if you're at risk of sexual violence and you're feeling scared in the classroom? Teachers must have the qualifications and the skills and the curriculum needed to effectively teach and assess foundational skills. We saw the emphasis on teacher training, but also the need to increase the number of female teachers. If I remember correctly from the annual school census, currently we have about 25%, 1 in 4 of the teachers are women. So this is another target to increase that. Domestic public education expenditure must improve in volume, efficiency and equity, ensuring that resources reach those who need them the most. And finally, the quality and timeliness of education data and evidence must be strengthened so that decisions are informed, progress is tracked, and course correction is possible. At the heart of this partnership is a shared commitment of mutual accountability. We use this word, the Minister used it as well. Government leadership, partner alignment, and transparent monitoring of results must go hand in hand. As the coordinating agency, UNICEF remains fully committed to supporting effective coordination and constructive dialogue among partners while holding ourselves accountable to deliver on the things we say we're going to do. Let me conclude by reaffirming UNICEF's continued commitment to the children of Liberia. Together through strong partnerships and focused action, we can ensure that every child not only attends school, but learns, thrives, and has the opportunity to reach their full potential. Thank you.
He was the country representative of UNICEF Liberia, and he's the co-chair for the local education group. The last of special remarks will come from the Honorable Minister of Finance for Development Planning, the Honorable Augustine.
We have a way of saying, my July 26th is on you, my Christmas is on you, and I think some of us started receiving those kinds of messages even in November. And I know if I can receive that, Jaso can receive it, Dr. Conan and Boakai and others, how much more about the president? The whole country's Christmas is on the president. And how can the president conceivably meet those demands? No way, because we know how little we pay presidents here. But President Boakai has decided to give the Liberian people Christmas in a sophisticated way. And this December, he's just been rolling the Christmas in advance. In advance. Last week, you all heard about the signing of the $124 million HEF financing agreement with our partners, the U.S. government. That's for HEF. Last Wednesday, our country, through its visionary leadership, was reconfirmed for a second MCC compact. We're now in negotiation in compact development, and we'll give you other details later. On Thursday, I signed with the Kuwaitis an agreement for financing of the Banga-Menekoma Highway. We've mobilized from the Kuwaitis, the Saudis, the Badea, the OPEC Fund for International Development, more than $80 million for that highway. Work is ongoing to Saraye. The great intention is that work will not stop until we reach Vonjaman. And that the legislature, thanks to our police and the legislature, just ratified the Pavi Fort agreement that will ensure that Pavi Fort and his partners will start from Vonjaman to Menekoma. This week, thanks to the Vice President and the Road Fund and others, we're making some advance payment so that the contractor can start work to ship the yellow machines. From this occasion, the EU head of delegation and myself are going to have a press conference to announce the remitting of good amount of budget support today. Tomorrow, the central bank governor and his team are going to launch what is called the interoperability of the two mobile networks, so that if you have Orange mobile money, you can now send money to Lone Star mobile money. Mr. President, I could go on and on, but I think I need to stop. So you are giving the Christmas in a lot of ways. And I just want to say thanks to you, Mr. President, for your visionary leadership. You said that your duty was not to curse the darkness, but to light the candle. And you are lighting the candle in all the sectors, concomitantly. So, I'm happy today because of this project. I want to say thanks to Dr. Jala and the team at the Ministry of Education. You know, we know that today we can talk about launching, but we have rules to track. I can recall the dedication and the passion in Washington, D.C., negotiating the financing with Georgia and her team and the GPE team. And let me thank all the donors, including those that contribute to the pool fund of GPE, including the EU and others. Let me thank the World Bank. The emphasis here is, I told Georgia, I like this, reducing learning poverty. Reducing learning poverty. Because when we talk poverty, people only think about cash and the issue of bread and butter. What is bread and butter? Some would say, what is the essence of the education? How does it address the bread and butter issue? Some would say so. All I can say is this. Today, I can afford my bread and butter. The president can afford his bread and butter. Dr. Jala can afford, and many of you here can afford your bread and butter, and maybe with some cheese. But it could only happen because of a strong foundation. Yes, Pike. We all had a strong foundation. So, in the context of intergenerational equity, where today's generation is fair to tomorrow's generation, we cannot only be thinking about bread and butter for today, but bread and butter for tomorrow. I know that we are doing a whole lot in the school feeding program, which government is funding, but this is beyond school feeding. Dr. Jala and her team, working with the government, who have just bought loaves of bread and some butter to put all in the schools and to say, yeah, we've addressed the bread and butter issue. We've addressed the bread and butter issue and make our young folks to have shaky foundations. If the foundation is shaky, the superstructure could collapse like a pack of cards. Strong foundation. Madam Minister, thank you very much. Mr. President, thanks for the guidance. At the level of the Ministry of Finance, we want to say thanks to all our partners. The World Bank, who launched the new country program framework the last time, in which you are pledging almost 500 million to support the development of this country over the next 5 years. And reducing learning poverty is key to this. In the arrest agenda, we've dedicated 2.3. Our target is to raise upwards of $2 billion for human capacity development. And we are on course, in spite of turbulence. We are on course. I want to say that we are mobilizing resources from multiple partners. Some of the resources we mobilize may pass through the budget. Some, like this, is not in the budget. But we are working to ensure that our critical sectors are funded. So we like the topicality of the debate, of the budget, but we want you to look at the panorama. Look at the panorama. $88 million for education. And we are concluding with our partners more than $30 million support. One of the partners was here recently, OFIT, to what we call the Special Agricultural Processing Zone. We have to transform agriculture, take it from its rudimentary level, value addition, and agribusiness. That project is not in the budget. It's on course. It's been sluggish, but we're taking some actions and our partners are getting excited. So, I want to say that today we are launching this project. We have a 5-year time frame for implementation. And sometimes projects like these have a way of delaying too long. There were some projects that we started, the past government in 2016, meant for 4 years. Mr. President will soon be dedicating the project in March or April. That's in the health sector. Imagine 2016, 4-year project. Hasn't been completed. Will be completed next year. But as we delay projects, the government is obligated to pay what is called commitment fees, especially if it is not grant, it's loan. And I say, no matter how concessional it is, it's 50 years, we pay. And this government, to enhance its credibility, is paying back. And the counterpart funding, some of the reasons why projects delay is that government needs to pay to do some things. And if the government doesn't do it, the project doesn't go. So people are wondering how this government seems to be achieving hitting target. It's because we're meeting the counterpart funding obligations. And it is because we have decided to ensure that we don't slip on our debt service obligation to partners. So next year, the budget we have about 25 million to pay back the World Bank. People will not see why. You saw what he said. In 6 years, you start to pay. We're going to be talking about these things. When it comes to payment, it's not only the burden of the President and the Minister of Finance. The country's burden. When we pay, our credibility is strengthened, we get more for development. So I want to say thank you to all for everything, and to conclude by saying, or by quoting the Chinese philosopher Confucius. because I think the president read some Confucius philosophy. Because Confucius says that if you are planning for a year, plant corn or rice. And if you are planning for a decade, plant trees. But if you are planning for a lifetime, educate people. And so that's what we're doing here. The president is planning for the lifetime, not just his time. Generations of the future, because of what we do today, will benefit. So, Mr. President, thank you, Madam Minister and your team. Thank you very much, and my team by the Ministry of Finance that work with you all in this. We say thank you. Thank to all the partners who donated to this process. Thank you most profusely.
Liberia's Minister of Finance and Development Planning. And Mr. Minister, I hereby appoint you as special advisor to the Minister of Information due to your proficiency in messaging. You know, in 1992, I was still young. And then the word octopus was introduced in Liberia. An operation was announced and it was called Operation Octopus. It was meant to capture our capital by military force. Today we see the re-emergence of the word octopus, but for a good reason. Our development initiative now, as they were outlined by the minister, can be best described as an Operation Octopus, but for development. And if you are from South Africa, maybe it's easier to say what is going on is development vuvuzela. We don't take additional remarks as reflected in the program, but want to appeal to the speakers to be brief so that we don't keep our president here too long. But before we do that, we have a musical performance by students from the Liberia School of the Blind, if they are here. Check. So they're coming from the back.
Talking about it. I'm so confusing.
You want him to sing from the back, or you bringing him? Let's clap for them as they come forward. You think so?
Patrick, you gotta help your man so you can't go.
You can say anything else or For the lunch.
Okay, praise the Lord. This song is dedicated to everyone here, and one of the students will do the introduction of the song, but we have from the Liberia School for the Blind, Mr. President, His Excellency Joseph Boakai, and your darling wife, Madam Katumu Boakai, and our able minister, Madam Jara. We want to say thank you for inviting us. And we want to invite you all to our campus one of these days. So we'll be doing our Basel song. Gabriel, just please introduce the song.
Amen. The song says, Bomo Anaji. And it means, Lord, we have come to say thank you for all you have done for us. Amen.
Shortly we do the inclusive song. You know, we are included now. No one is left behind.
So we have the BL and the SR learning together, meaning the blind, the visually impaired students, and those that are seeing. So they are our seeing counterparts, and so we did an inclusive song.
We support inclusive education. We too have a voice. Every school needs inclusive education. We must be a part. We support inclusive education. We do have a voice. Every school
needs inclusive education.
We must be a part.
We must be a part.
We support
inclusive education.
We do
have a voice.
Every school needs inclusive education.
We must be a part.
We must be a part.
We have the right to go to school and compete with our sighted counterpart. We must build our self-esteem.
This is why we need inclusive education.
We support
inclusive education.
We do have a voice.
We do have a voice. Every school needs inclusive education.
We must be a part.
We must be a part.
We
support inclusive education.
We do have a voice.
We do have a voice. Every school needs inclusive education.
We must be a part.
We must be a part.
Visually impaired person need to be included. Hearing impaired person need to be included.
Physically disabled need to be included. Visually impaired need to be included. Hearing impaired need to be included. Physically disabled need to be included. Visually impaired person need to be included. Hearing impaired person need to be included. Physically disabled need to be included. We support inclusive education.
We do have a voice.
We do have a voice.
In every school.
Every school needs inclusive education.
We must be a part.
We must be a part.
We
support inclusive education.
We do have a voice.
We do have a voice. Every school needs inclusive education.
We must be a part.
We must be a part. We must be a part.
No discrimination.
We must be a part.
In all Liberia.
We must be a part.
All around the world.
We must be a part. Thank you.
Let's keep clapping for them as they leave the stage for that wonderful singing. Thank you, dear students. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, students. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the first song they sang in the Bahasa vernacular says, Lord, we have come to thank you for all that you've done for us. That's what they were saying in that Bahasa song. Let's clap for them one more time. We now invite the lady that was referred to by the president just on, was it Friday, as a strong superintendent. And she's the head of the Superintendent Council of Liberia, Superintendent called Mia Pego, for her remarks.
Your Excellency, President Joseph Yuma Boakai Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia, our Honorable and beloved First Lady, Madam Katumu Boakai, Honorable Yan G. Flomo, House Committee Chair on Education, the Honorable members of the Cabinet, our distinguished development partners, officials of government present, past government officials, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our students, superintendents of the counties here present, members of the Fourth Estate, one and all. On behalf of the Council of Superintendents and of people of all 15 counties of Liberia, I stand here with a message of gratitude, recognition, and unwavering commitment. First, let me speak or hard truth, one that we all know. The true heroes of our nation are not often always in the hall like this. They are in classrooms. In some instances, at hard to reach facilities. They are our teachers, especially our rural teachers. Many work in places with no lights, no easy access, and very few materials. This project speaks directly to the schools in the interior parts of Liberia, in the tough terrains, and in communities beyond the last motor, in Yawa Mesna, or villages across the Sesta River. To the students in Feshtown and in Vonchima, in Bapolu and other parts of this country, this project is for you. It is a message to you that you too belong to Liberia, that decent learning environment and quality foundation too matters for you. To our kids in rural communities, we are celebrating for you, just as we would do for kids in urban communities. It is a project that brings not just lessons, but decency and hope. For far too long, there continues to exist a huge disparity between our urban comfort and rural realities. But under this Boakai-led government, we are seeing significant and intentional commitment to bridge the divide. Mr. President, we say thank you for the leadership you continue to provide for our country. Under the leadership of Minister Jala, there is a clear will to bring our entire school system on par. From Monrovia to Seneca, from Kakata to Swechu, from Fishtown to Harper, from Barclayville to Greenville. And this is where our partnership is crucial. As county administrations, under the Ministry of Internal Affairs, or should I say under the Ministry of Local Government, we control the towns and villages where these schools and children are. We are the local government. We see these challenges every day. Because we local government officials are frontliners, whether there is school in that area or not, we feel the pain of our people. That is why we are here and more than happy today for this project. We see it not as a gift from Monrovia, but as a tool for our hands in our communities every day in every county. And as chairperson of the Superintendent Council of Liberia, I stand here today to declare on behalf of all the 15 county administrations across Liberia to be the custodian of this project at the local level. We will ensure it does not stay in county capitals, but travel to every chieftain, every clan, and every town. We commit to working hand in hand with the Ministry of Education to ensure that this project is jealously protected. We will mobilize our town chiefs, our community leaders, mayors, women, youth groups, and elders, and parents to own up to this project. Because when a child interpreter learns to read, Liberia is stronger. Or when a child in a remote village in Bon County solves a math problem, Liberia is smarter. This is how we build our nation, not from the top down, but from the foundation up, and from the interior out. Let us leave here today united behind this project. Let us build a Liberia where every child in every corner of every county has a fair start that he or she deserves. The foundation of a brighter, more united Liberia starts now. This is how His Excellency, our President, wants us to continue thinking Liberia, loving Liberia, and together building Liberia. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
The Iron Lady and head of the Superintendent Council. Thank you. We quickly call on Mr. David Boakai, County Education Officer, Bon County, who is chairperson of the CEOs.
Thank you. His Excellency Chusa Nyima Boakai, Senior, President of the Republic of Liberia, Madam First Lady, honorable members of the 55th Legislature present here, Dr. Jasu Marijara, Minister of Education, and members of the senior management team, other members of the cabinet here present, honorable superintendents, development partners, distinguished guests, implementing institutions, fellow county education officers, educators, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you warm greetings from Bon County and from all county education officers across Liberia. It is with great honor and profound appreciation that I stand before you today on behalf of my colleagues to witness and participate in the official launch of the Excellence in Learning in Liberia project, Excel. This project represents a significant milestone in our collective effort to strengthen the quality, equity, and effectiveness of education in Liberia. Excel aligns directly with the Ministry of Education's vision of improving learning outcomes, enhancing teacher capacity, strengthening school leadership, and ensuring that every Liberian child, regardless of location, has access to quality education. As county education officers, we are the frontline implementers of national education policies at the county level. We therefore recognize that the success of the Excel project will depend not only on sound policy and strong partnerships, but also on effective coordination, ownership, and commitment at the local level. On behalf of all county education officers, I wish to pledge our full and unwavering support to the Ministry of Education, as well as to all development partners and implementing organizations involved in this project. We commit ourselves to working collaboratively in our respective counties to ensure the smooth implementation, transparency, accountability, and sustainability of Excel interventions. Specifically, we assure the ministry and our partners that county education offices will, 1, provide leadership and coordination at the county level, 2, facilitate community and stakeholder engagement, 3, support monitoring, supervision, and reporting processes, and 4, ensure alignment of Excel activities with county education priorities and school improvement plans. In Bond County and across Liberia, we are prepared to serve as reliable partners, bridging national policy with school-level action. We believe that through shared responsibility and strong collaboration, Excel will deliver meaningful and measurable improvements in teaching and learning outcomes. Let me conclude by commending the Ministry of Education for its leadership and vision, and by thanking our development partners for their continual investment in Liberia's education sector. Together, let us seize this opportunity to transform our classrooms, empower our teachers, and secure a brighter future for our children. On behalf of the county education officers of Liberia, I say, we are committed, we are ready, and we stand fully in support of the Excel project. Thank you.
The county education officers are the ministers of education in the county. So when they come to make representation and that representation is not okay, then you know the school system got a problem. But Chief, you represented your colleagues well, so clap for him one more time. We now invite to the podium the Honorable Nyan G. Flomo, Chairman, House Committee on Education, the Honorable House of Representatives.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Good afternoon. Your Excellency, President Joseph Newman Boakai, President of the Republic of Liberia, Madam First Lady, our dear Minister, Madam Jala, and the Ministry of Education family, Minister Gafwan and the Minister of Finance and Development family, our development partners, including the World Bank, UNICEF, and the Global Partner for Education, the European Union, members of the Diplomatic Corps, fellow Liberians, the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Today marks a pivotal moment for the future of our nation. We gather here today to launch the Excellence in Learning Project. We believe this is a transformative initiative made possible by generous support from the World Bank through a $60 million loan and the Global Partnership for Education through a $28.7 million grant. On behalf of the Speaker
of the House of Representatives and members of the 55th Legislature and the people of Liberia that we serve, we want to extend our profound gratitude to all our partners, the Ministry of Education and the government of Liberia for this venture. The investment, totaling nearly $90 million, represents more than a financial transaction. It is a covenant with our children, a bet on our national potential, and a trust planted in our institutions. How we manage this opportunity will determine our educational landscape for generations to come. Therefore, as chairman of the committee overseeing both education and public administration, I feel compelled to outline the principles that must guide the project from now onward. And I would like to reiterate the concerns that my colleagues and I made during the public hearing for the ratification of the 16 million loan component. One concern is accountability and transparency, and that is for us non-negotiable. This fund is drawn from international partners, but it is ultimately secured against the future of our citizens. We take 50 years to pay back. Every dollar must be accounted for. We will not tolerate past situation of ghost projects, where the projects were completed, and you visit the area, the projects are not available. We will exercise our oversight mandate to the fullest to ensure that we get value for money. This is not a threat, but a solemn duty. We demand clear, accessible, and real-time public reporting on all expenditures. The implementing agencies must work with an open book philosophy. To our partners, we want to say thank you for your trust intended to improve our system. And this trust, we believe, is well placed. We also need robust corruption safeguard so that at the end of the day, the issue of transparency and accountability can be addressed. History has taught us that large-scale projects can become targets for mismanagement. We have learned from that history. This project requires not just a procedural safeguard, but a culture of integrity to all those actors who will be involved. We call for the immediate establishment of an independent multi-stakeholder monitoring unit with the authority to audit the process and investigate red flags as we go along. We call on the ministry and her partners to establish a whistleblower mechanism that those who will see the wrongs being done, when they report them, they are not exposed and punished, but they are protected by that mechanism. Let me be clear. Any attempt to divert resources away from this project, you are diverting resources from our children. We also are interested at the legislature in tangible outcomes and measurability. We are not here to merely disperse funds. We are here to deliver on results. Success cannot be measured only in classrooms, built or textbooks distributed. We will monitor the teacher training, the quality, and student retention. We must measure learning outcomes by measuring indicators, visible indicators. When we had a public hearing, one of the issues we raised was whether we will have geographic balance. And looking at the project document, where the 73 electoral districts are captured, we believe that in the selection process, we must also be involved. Because you're not capturing education district, you're also capturing electoral districts. And so even though we are a separate branch of government, but our constitution provides that we coordinate. And so, Madam Minister, would like to appeal to you that in the selection process at the electoral district level, whether it's your county education officer or your technical team, let them get in touch with our respective lawmakers so that they can have an input or can have an understanding about how the selection is being done. Why are you guys laughing? My man, we okay the money, so you all want to be part of sharing the money again. What kind of man are you? So, to our colleagues in government, this is our chance to change the narrative. To our development partners, hold us on our word. Because the money you are spending, they are also public money from some of your country. And if we don't manage it well, it means we are also not preparing to manage the future of our country. To the World Bank and the Global Partnership for Education, you are giving us a powerful tool. This project is going to be a powerful tool. It is not our responsibility to wield it with wisdom, integrity, and unwavering focus on the future. Let us all work together to build a legacy of educational excellence that is accountable, clean, results-driven, and inclusive. I want to say thank you and may God bless this project, Mama Liberia.
Chair of the House Committee on Education. I guess Senator McGill is in here. Is there a process? All right.
Madam First Lady of Liberia, Mr. Chairman of the House Committee on Education, Madam Minister of Education and members of the President's Cabinet, Madam Ambassador of the European Union and members of the Diplomatic Corps, Madam Country Manager of the World Bank, heads and representatives of international organizations and international partners, development partners, Madam Chair and members of the Superintendent's Council, the Honorable, the Mayor of the City of Monrovia, other officials of government, Mr. Chairman of MAKE Group, and Han and brother, former officials of government, students, all other invited guests, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On the occasion of the official launch of the project, styled Excellence in Learning in Liberia, Excel, I have the honor at this time to present to you His Excellency Joseph Newman Boakai, Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia, who will deliver special remarks on this occasion.
Welcome, please have your seats. Want to thank you all for coming. For those of you who have followed the history of Liberia in education, we came from good, bad, mess, best, now excellent. I think we want to keep it at excellent for now. Want to recognize the ministers of government, Madam First Lady, members of the legislature, our development partners, excellencies, members of the diplomatic corps, our parents, students, members of the full estate, fellow Liberians. I want to start by thanking our partners, and as I listen to them today, it reminds me of a little girl who was praying for a pair of shoes, and she was shouting so much, and somebody said, "You don't need to shout, God is not deaf." And he said that my auntie in the room that's supposed to buy the shoes. So you keep our promises. And I listen to Andy, to one. We want to thank you so much for making it clear as to what this country needs to move. I want to recognize here our partners that just arrived, the Korean partners who are here. Will you just stand and let them see you? And the MAKE group who are here to contribute to the development of this country. Came with a big plate, and we're very happy to have you here. I'm very pleased to be with you today as we launch the Excellence in Learning project in Liberia, widely known as Excel. And I want to thank the children from the School of the Blind. I want to say to them, your Christmas is on me. Today is more than just unveiling a program. It is a clear statement of who we are as Liberians and as a nation, what we believe about the future of our children. At its core, the project speaks to a simple but powerful truth that every Liberian child, no matter where that child is born or raised, deserves quality education
and a real opportunity to succeed. And as a matter of fact, we are a product of that. When we invest in education, we are not just building school or training teachers. We are shaping the future of our country. Education is the foundation on which national development is built. If we get education right, we set Liberia on the right path where generations unborn. I always say this government and we are not about the next election, we are about the next generation. We fail our children in the classroom, we risk failing the Liberia tomorrow. This is why Excel matters. It is a bold vision of inclusive, enriched, transformative, and impact. We're therefore here today to roll out this all-important program that bears the following four critical target areas. 1, improving equitable access to primary education through the construction of 100 innovative climate resilient schools. 2, school capitation grant program targeting school renovation, rehabilitation, and performance-based grants to incentivize merit and excellence at schools. 3, school-based violence prevention program. 4, system strengthening to deliver foundational learning through the conduct of a timely and quality annual school census and national primary learning assessments. Through this initiative, more than 350 children will benefit. Over 15,000 teachers will receive better training and support. School leaders across 15 counties in every political district will be better equipped to lead. Our schools will become safer, stronger, more resilient. This is how we intentionally build Liberia's human capital fairly and sustainably. The Excel project fits squarely within my government's agenda for inclusive development, especially our commitment to human capital development. It directly addresses the long-standing challenges in our education sector and turns those challenges into opportunities for reform, innovation, and lasting improvement. Let me be very clear, this is not just a project. It is not financing. It is an impactful investment in Liberia's future. It is an investment that will pay dividends in higher productivity, reduce inequality, empower girls, stronger communities, and a more competitive nation. But government alone cannot do this. And I'm speaking to those who have openly made commitments here, our educational leaders. I'm reminded sometime back, I helped to sponsor some teachers in Lofa County, sometime way back. There were about 37 of them at KRTTI and ZRTTI. And I got a very nice letter from them from their graduation. We want to thank you for sponsoring us. But we want to ask you, as we always in Liberia, when we say thank you, the next thing that follows is a request. We want to ask you to help us buy our COATSHOOTS coat shoots. This was a letter from teachers who are going to train. And I said to the president at the time, I said, it reminds me about a man and his wife was fasting. And the woman said, I regret for marrying you. And the man said, look at the woman, can't expect, she calling regret. So you have regret everything. If the graduation teachers are asking for coat shoots, you can just imagine what the students will be writing about. This is serious, and that's why we want to make sure we correct. So I call on our educators, our parents, our community leaders, development partners to take full ownership of this project. I want to urge our legislature, and I thank the men from the House, stand firmly with Liberia's children by supporting a timely ratification of this financial exercise so that we do not lose the important opportunity of the financing. And I want for us to work together to ensure that the classrooms of today become the engines of prosperity for tomorrow. Let us make excellence not an exception, but a standard for education in Liberia. Let us continue, as we always say, in all that we do, that we think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia. I want to thank you all for this commitment. When the Minister of Finance were laying out to you some of the things that they intend to do, in support of some of these things that we're doing with the Gender Minister and the Education Minister, we now have at the port 5 containers, 40-foot containers, that are to support some of these projects for children who may not have